Okay, now you can start.
Good afternoon and welcome to the latest edition of the A-Team Bad Guys documentary, where we look back on the iconic cult classics TV series, The A-Team, which was a global phenomenon all over the world. But first of all, it was a real big success story in the United States and Canada. It was one of those groundbreaking shows that was seen in cable TV by millions and millions of people all over the States and all over Canada back in the 1980s. And we look at this documentary features on guest stars who played one of the arch nemesis of the A-Team. And for this episode, we go to season 4. We go to episode 4. We go to the episode was called Harder Than It Looks. And it deals with the whole issue of Stockholm syndrome in terms of the kidnapping. The A-Team are hired out to rescue a girl who actually falls in love with one of our captors and doesn't want to leave, and then obviously the A-Team go back and have to make a double rescue by trying to rescue one of the captors as well. And one of the bad terrorist groups in this episode is called GLA, and one of those people that was a member of the GLA was a character called Tony, and he's our guest this evening, the one and only Anthony De Longis. Anthony, a pleasure talking to you. And GLA, a sort of terrorist group, it sort of reminded me as sort of a guerrilla type, sort of IRA in 1940s Northern Ireland type of a rogue sort of group.
Well, I wouldn't presume to comment on your own political history, but yeah, it was, yeah, they were trying to allude to certain groups that had their own agendas and weren't necessarily they were doing bad things, and that part of my career in particular, I've actually had a long and successful and still going on career of playing the bad guy, who I kind of go, we don't think of ourselves as bad guys, we just think of ourselves as superior, and the rules don't apply to us. So I've had a grand time playing the antagonist for a number of heroes, because if you don't have a strong antagonist, you don't have much of a hero. So much of my career has been the guy that the hero has to, that puts the hero to the test, and he has to rise to the occasion. And this, however, was a little early in that. I used to make a joke that sometimes I'd get parts where I'd be the third ski mask from the left. And even though I do believe I had a balaclava in this episode, I also had a name and I had lines. So it seems to me, it was a long time ago, but it seems to me I did a German accent as well. I haven't seen the episode in, what did you say? It was in 1984, was it?
Yes, it aired on October the 22nd, 1985.
Yeah. So that's wow. Well done on tracking all that down. It'd be fun to see again. I think my appearance is brief. I don't know. What I remember most about it was what a lovely man George Peppard was. I was a young actor at the time, and I started in Shakespeare. I started at the Old Globe in San Diego. I played Iago twice, in the course of my career, and it's a grand place to start. It really helps me with the voiceover work I do now, because being trained to be able to project to a theater and do lots of different accents and things. But I remember it being very cold, and I remember him inviting me into his trailer, and we just had a lovely chat while we were waiting in between setups. And I just kind of went, I was certainly aware of his career and his many accomplishments, and I was just delighted that he was such a gentleman. And so he complimented me on my accent and the fact that I was doing one. Back in the day, I love doing accents in my voices because it changes my rhythm, and that can be a useful tool for an actor. Ask. Oh golly. So yeah, so that's mostly what I remember. And as I recall, we had a fight sequence, and that went very well. And doing those has become something of a second career for me on a large number of shows. If your audience goes to see my Internet Movie Database, they'll
Yep.
see the film and television work, not the theater work. But so I I love verbal dialogue. I also like physical dialogue, which to me is what action is. And some of my favorite roles, I've been able to combine both.
And I suppose, Anthony, one thing that struck me about the shooting of the episode was the location itself where he shot. There was a lighthouse, there was a hydroelectric sort of plant in the actual sort of episode. There was a sort of a cliff place. It was out towards Santa Monica, I think, out in California, in terms of that sort of sequence. So a really sort of stunning landscape and a backdrop for an episode of the A-Team.
Yeah, they popped around quite a bit. I'm not sure. I couldn't tell you because the number of locations I've been on. Well, I've been fortunate enough. I've created memorable roles, I like to think, in 13 countries on 5 continents. 11 of them were on the back of a horse, which was one of my childhood dreams. I worked hard to develop the skills to be able to meet a new horse, get him to trust me, and then let me do, weapons work or whatever else I wanted to do and not look like an idiot, because nothing makes a performer look foolish quicker than being on the back of a horse if you don't know what you're doing. Because the horse knows as you walk up to him that, oh, this guy doesn't, he doesn't know anything. He didn't put any time. And as I said, it was my dream as a boy. So I came to it in my late 30s, and 30 years later, it's and 11 countries later, and we have 3 of our own right now here at the ranch. And I specialize sometimes acting roles, sometimes they're a little more stunt and action roles, but I specialize doing precision weapons work from horseback. People, if you come to my website, which is DELONGIS.com, my last name.com, I've got a sword master reel, and I've got a horse skills reel, and I've got a whip master reel. I trained Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman. I trained Harrison Ford with the whip. That's one of the things I'm very proud of. I created a system that is more efficient, more effective, more accurate, and a lot prettier. Most people yank and make a big noise, and I actually roll and stab, because to me a whip is a supersonic flexible blade. So I created my system based on almost 50 years of working with bladed weapons from around the world. I do the European, I do the Filipino, and this decade I'm training in Japanese swords. So it's things that keep me young and keep me interested, and give me skills, give me knowledge. I'm always trying to add to my skill set, because knowledge is choices and your art is in your choices. And I have found, with all the things I've studied, I can make a weapon of opportunity, which is an opportunity to drive story and reveal character, in addition to my verbal dialogue, for the roles I play. So I find it a good use of my time.
And Anthony, you mentioned your theatre sort of background there as well. And I suppose one of the characters on the A-Team, Dwight Schultz, had a massive theatre sort of background as well. He was able to play Murdoch. He was able to pitch up his voice from high to low. And did yourself and Dwight, obviously having so much in common, did you find yourselves talking to each other on the set when you weren't shooting on the A-Team?
And who is that?
Dwight Schultz.
Oh, I didn't really get any time with Dwight. Most, as I recall, most of my work was being known with George, and as I said, he was a lovely gentleman and very welcoming, and just friendly and supportive. Which, as a relatively young actor at the time, I much appreciated. But yeah, I really didn't do anything substantial with Mr. T or with Dwight or Dirk. Interestingly enough, Dirk Benedict, I've worked with several times over the years. I guess starred on Battlestar Galactica a couple of times. I played a character called Taba, we were the Borelian Nomen. We were right towards the end of it. We were hoping to go into in a new series of antagonists for, Battlestar. Excuse me, and instead of the Cylons, because they'd had the Cylons for a long time. And so the episode I was in was starring um, Fred Astaire, which was a big thrill for me. And then we did a follow up on that, and then alas, Battlestar Galactica, quit. He came in, I believe, I was guesting on a Mike Hammer, and he was on that, so I saw him again, and then I guess about 10 years ago, we did a picture called, it was called The Feminine Touch. Initially, it was The November Conspiracy, and then I believe the title changed to The Feminine Touch, and I got to kill him. I was on roller skates. I was an assassin. One of my other favorite roles was in the original MacGyver series. And the first one I did, it was the end of season 1. I played a character called Piedra the Assassin. So I got to do accents. What if it was Irish? Which was a great time. So I apologize if I'm butchering, your accent, but it gave me another color for another part of the sequence. And at the end, I'm a nun in disguise. I was a master of disguise with fake scars that had curare needles in them and all kinds of things. But I think we ran across each other in that as well. So but in this character, I was in the Feminine Touch. I was playing an assassin, and at some point, we're over in this carousel park, and I come skating by, and kind of jostle him and spin him, and as I turn around on the skates and I cut his throat, and then I smile and continue on. So it was kind of fun.
And Anthony, you mentioned there about your ranch in terms of doing training and stuff like that for a global sort of, for the world, a global audience, and you have a website. Can you maybe expand a bit more on that?
I'd love to. Is I've had this interesting parallel career, because as I said, I started in Shakespeare. I started as an actor. I started doing choreography for the Old Globe Theater down in, this was started in the early 70s and ran through to the mid 80s. And I was developing my own skills, and the choreography I was doing, I started doing in film and television as well. And as I said, I'm always adding to my skill set. I'm always learning and teaching and training, and so these days, if I'm not playing the part myself, I'm often being called to come in and help the director and the stunt coordinator and the actor make the most of their character action opportunities. Because to me, good action drives story and articulates character. And my work always tells a story. It probably comes from my theater background, because there are no quick cuts and, snip, snip and do all of this. When you're on stage, you have to create a story that you can then do. Well, when we were doing a repertory theater, it was 8 shows a week, and have it be able to tell a narrative that the audience could become emotionally invested in. So that's always what I try to do with my choreography. And along the way, well, my school here is in it's called Rancho Andalo, based after some work that I was doing in Spain on a number of different projects. And this is where people come. They come from all over the United States, and actually all over the world. We would get the Australian Stunt Academy come. They came for over a decade, which is they'd come in for 2 weeks, and I would train them in fights and weapons and things like that. And so I do all the European swords. That was my first martial art. And then I do the Filipino swords. I trained with Guruden and Asanto for almost 12 years. My fencing master was Ralph Faulkner. He was a 2-time Olympian, the original sword master to the stars. He did everything from the original Prisoner of Zenda to the Court Jester and many more in between. And now I'm studying with Kaiso Toshishiro Bada in Japanese sword. So I have a very wide palette, of knowledge that I like to share with people. And then we also we have an on-site archery range and a knife and tomahawk range. I'm in the Knife Throwers Hall of Fame. I'm Black Belt Hall of Fame. I teach people, if they already ride, I can raise their level of riding and then also teach them how to ride with weapons. Um, I can take a target out of your hand, assuming you can ride a horse, as we pass at full gallop with a bullwhip or a sword or a lance or anything else, and teach the horse to be happy about it, to actually enjoy playing the game. Excuse me. So these are the things that people come in our ranch is about 45 minutes north of Hollywood and Universal Studios, but we're 3 miles up a dirt road. So I have an on-site gun range and an archery range and a knife and tomahawk throwing range, and it's really beautiful. It looks like southern Spain. We were in Almeria making the first time I was in Spain, I was doing a picture called Jaguar Lives, and I was the bad guy. I was with Joe Lewis and it had John Huston and Christopher Lee and Barbara Bach and Woody Strode and Joe Weissman. Anyway, it was a great cast, and I had a grand time. And then some 20 years later, I was back doing a show called The Queen of Swords that we were shooting in Almeria, and the Indalo is a cave painting that is a genie holding a rainbow. So he's good luck and good weather. And when we were looking for our place where I could have my school at home and our horses at home, I found this place, and it's it's our dream place. I lived across from the Hollywood Bowl for 18 years, and we've been out here for 18 years now. I like this better, but this is where people come to train with me, and they come in for 3 to 5 to 10 days, whatever they would like, and we do intensive one-on-one training, and I kind of share with them the knowledge that I've gained on both sides of the camera over the years. And at night, my wife's a world-class chef. She also has her PhD in cellular biology and does all the stuff I do, Dr. Mary. But we have lovely meals, and there's usually an adult beverage, outside as the sun sets and the stars come out, and I recount tales of adventure and intrigue, from 48 years and counting now career in show business. So it's good fun.
Anthony,
so come learn.
Yeah, Anthony, on that note, you'll have to sign me up when COVID is over. Anyway, it sounds like an appealing sort of place to for a bit of R&R for 2 weeks.
Oh, it is a grand time. I get professionals, who come in, and I get people who are aspiring professionals, but then we like to share this with people who are going to enjoy it. So we also get people who we think come in and train to be your favorite action hero, or if there's something you've always dreamed of wanting to try, we can help you embrace that dream, and enjoy it and keep you safe. But at the same time, when you leave us, you will go, I can crack a whip now, or I can sling a sword and look like I know what I'm doing, or, I don't know if I'd be shooting any apples off of people's heads, or, but you can be Indiana Jones, or you can be Catwoman. I don't judge. Whoever you want to be. But yes, we as soon as we can get past this COVID thing, we look forward to having people coming back to play and train and share knowledge with us.
On that note, Anthony De Longis, a pleasure talking to you today. To relive your memories of your time on the A-Team, you played the character Tony. You appeared in season 4, episode 4, Harder Than It Looks. It aired on US TV, cable TV, network TV on October 22nd, 1985. Thanks for sharing your memories, Tony, and hope your continued business adventure is a long and prosperous one. For the moment, and Anthony, take care.
I thank you, and this was a good time, and hello to all you out there. Come see us.
Cheers, Anthony. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye. Are we done?